Welcome back to College Football 26, episode 18. We enter into a new season finally as a one-star prestige program. That, of course, is now the big key in making any further progress within this series because we've gone from a 79 to an 80. We have improved slightly, but I don't see us improving significantly until we have improved our prestige significantly. We need to be probably a 3-star or better before we're going to start being able to take recruits away from other programs more readily. But as we do pick up that prestige, we'll have a little bit more in recruiting hours. We'll have a little bit more capability in recruiting battles and be able to hang on to some guys and have riskier and riskier ventures. In particular, starting to get after more and more of the 4-stars while being very secure and picking up the 3 stars when we can't get the 4 stars. But the prospect of hanging on to athletes longer has gotten better and better year by year. We only lost 11 last season, and realistically, we can count on a similar number for this coming year. Maybe even better. Right now, there are 3 concerned about pro potential. Asiki was already concerned about it, but didn't leave last year. He'll certainly leave this year. And that's that big thing that I've really been watching out for on the recruiting front lately, and it's starting to pay off. So 3 there. We have 5 here. Smalls, who started last year, but suddenly finds himself likely as the backup for the year to come, is worried about playing time. And only a single player is worried about play style, and that is one of the big differences between in the past and now, that where I'm being a lot more selective. So in all, that's 9 guys at the start of the season anyway, that there is some concern over them leaving. And realistically, from the risk level, you would expect us to probably lose 7 to 8 of these guys. Our non-conference games this year include UNLV, who were just 2-10 a year ago, Western Kentucky, who were 7-6 last year, San Jose State, 5-7 a year ago, and FCS West, who we have not played against. That'll be the first time we take them on. A year ago was the very first time that we ever even had a 3-star guy who had us on his board, and now a year later, there's a ton of guys that have us first, and a ton of guys that have us second. There is, and some of them are quite good. Absolutely nothing in the 4-star category, but I'm happy with the 3-star willingness to sign. The other notable thing here is not only is the second highest 3-star recruit interested, has us 4th on his board, but the general willingness of 3 stars to sign with us and not have us locked out day 1. There's a lot of guys willing to talk to us, so there's going to be a lot more choice. I think I'm going to go straight into a kind of position by position and then do deal breaker, as it seems that it's going to be quite easy to find some options. I'm already starting to pick up on a few changes that we're going to encounter this year. First and foremost, I have an extra 100 hours than what I had previously, going from 350 up to 450. The other thing is there's some subtle changes in our grading with the extra half-star of prestige, where a number of our grades have gone from D's and F's to C's. So there's a lot more C's out there. But at the same time, I think there's going to be with that extra set of hours and a little higher grade in a number of areas, I feel like we could get stuck in on some battles and come out the right side of it and not have to dig too deep and get too low on our list. There's some good quality guys we can get after. The other thing too, the Ohio guys, a lot more are interested in us now as we come in as a championship contender, which some of them care about a decent amount, and we might not be on like an Ohio, or these guys might not be on like an Ohio State kind of radar, but could we be the best of the rest within the state? That feels like an argument we can now make, which means we can definitely take some recruits that we couldn't take before. And suddenly, at least for our first week list, about 25 of the 35 are Ohio guys, and only some care significantly about as their deal breaker anyway, location. But for others, it still may matter, which is going to give us a pretty big leg up on recruiting those guys. There's a good chance that I could hang on to more of this list than I have in other seasons where it's been in the 11 to 15 range after day one. I might not back out of all the ones. Now, if there's like 6 teams going for it, I know that there's going to be one that can ultimately outdo us. But if there's one other school going after them, and if it's a smaller school, I may get stuck in and get after it and try to win a few battles. Normally, week number 1 involves 4 or 5 guys locking us out, sometimes even more. 6 or 7 can lock us out in week number 1 because we're not on the board of anyone that we end up going after initially. And so if somebody big comes in, it can easily lock them down to that top 8. Well, it did happen, but only once, and for one of the 4-star Ohio kids. There's more than half a dozen of them that are on the week 1 list. But let me whittle it down and see how we're doing. Right off the bat, our quarterback target, we went from off his list to number 3 just by simply offering. We're in different territory this season. We are down to 350 on the hours. Never mind. We just got an extra 100 in week 1. This is the one that's your typical let it go. For one, we're talking about a guy who's 121st nationally, 2nd right guard in the nation, and we're talking about Ohio State, Penn State, Duke. Well, Duke, never mind, but Notre Dame, right? 3 massive prestige programs. We're not going to win that battle. They are going to be able to out-recruit us head-to-head, even if we send the house every week. We're not going to get his signature. Don't waste our time on this kind of signing. My task is not done for week 1 yet, but here's a check-in on where we're at and what I was thinking versus what I'm seeing in practice. First off, I've got 3 4-star guys that are open and available right here, right now, and 2 of the 3 4-star guys. Nobody else is on the list. Kentucky is on the list for this one. I'll give it a shot. We'll see if throwing the house at us gives us a chance. Kentucky's definitely got more prestige than we do, and they jumped from number 7 to number 1 in 1 week, and they very much have some advantage, but he is an Ohio kid, so we can absolutely maybe get after him. It depends on how invested Kentucky's going to be. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to commit some hours to that. And then my next wave. This is my normal group of there's no other offers. There's no competition. And this gets me from number 4 through 14. Now, 14, that's kind of that typical list, right? 11 of 15 guys that ended up not having other offers. And the amazing thing is that numbers 4 through 8, after just the week, just the offer, we're already number 1 on their list. Most of them we were already in their top 8. This is going to give me an advantage by going after these guys first because they already like us. There's already a reason for them to want to be here. We're not starting from scratch. It's not taking me multiple weeks just to get them on the list. We're going to start shutting other schools out very quickly, which means I can lock them up sooner. I can back off on the hours earlier and be able to get into a second wave that much sooner and recruit that much better. I think that's a win-win. That is a huge plus for us. Then we get into the next phase of guys who are already up to like number 2 or number 1. That's through 11. That's already through 11 on the list. And then the 12, 13, 14 is the typical one where we, after 1 week, don't appear on their list. That's what I'm used to seeing. But then I get to number 15 through 30. I only had 5 automatic lockouts where it just was not going to happen. 15 through 30, I could get into a prolonged battle if I wanted to. Oh, that's a big question right there. That's a big if on the if I wanted to. And I think I need to look at the deal breaker on these guys. For the moment, I've put our 350 hours into the others. If I had the extra, if I had the 450, I think I would have gone with this plan. Realistically, I think it just makes more sense to go with the standard plan and get the best of what's out there, and we're just going to be able to get into those second tiers earlier because there's more guys that actually like us. But anyway, as much as Eddie's a good one because we were already on the list and we come in here at number 2. He's pretty good nationally too, 496, but I do have another quarterback who we don't have the competition on, and Michigan State's going to be really hard to beat. So is Kent State and Purdue, for that matter. I think we can handle a little more if Michigan State wasn't in on this. Maybe I'd be up for the battle. He's a Michigan kid, so they have an advantage on him. I'm going to let Eddie go. I think the big thing I'm going to look at on this group, and I'll save some, is what is their deal breaker. Just how solid, and then who's the competition and whether we have a chance on any of them. And while we're second here, I don't like our odds of keeping this guy long term or winning these battles. Anyway, that's the process now. By the way, that best of the rest that I was mentioning, I think our real contender for that's going to be Cincinnati. Cincinnati still has more prestige than we do. I think we might be competing to be about third best right now. This is somebody that I actually have a legit shot on deal breaker. It's an A+, but it is playing time. So after looking through the list a bit farther, I've cut it down to 22 now, and I'm ready to make another adjustment and selection. And I am choosing to go after 4 of these guys, 4 battles, to extend my list from 14 to 18. And here's ultimately how I made the decision. In the case of these 4 guys, their deal breaker, playing time, we have an A+. Proximity to home, A+. Proximity to home, A. Playing time, A+. The deal breaker is something that they care about, and we have. It meshes. We can pitch, we can push, we can send the house and get good outcomes. Also, the other part on why they weren't already removed off the list is the other schools that are in. Even though there's 2 or 3 other schools in, they're beatable. West Virginia's a little bit harder, but we've got a head start. Cincinnati's a little bit harder, but we've got a head start. Now, the other 4 that were on the list and I've decided against, main thing is that deal breaker. They care about championship contender or playing style and only have a B or a B+ in each of them. And likewise, as we go into that recruiting section, one or both of our good grades is already gotten a negative. It's got the X that they don't care about. So like this guy, he doesn't care about playing time, which we have an A- on. Proximity to home, which we have an A+, I don't know about yet. Maybe we could get in there, but it just feels like this guy is going to be a difficult one to try to secure. Now, I may leave him on the list a week and see. I am going to leave him on the list for a week and see what we can do, how vested those others are before I push forward. And maybe he likes proximity to home a lot and we have a really good grade there and it gives us an angle that we can do well on. But Pepper, we don't know about either at this point, and I know he cares about championship contenders, so I'll leave Pepper on the list, especially when, those guys we are number 1 on. But York, we only have a single A grade, and it's a little bit harder, and we're already number 2. Who is the number... Oh, well, we're ahead of Cincinnati. You know what? I'm going to leave him on the list. But I am going to take one more off the list. Malvo, I might be number 1 on his list, but we don't have any of them. On the recruiting side, he cares about the championship contender. The other things that we have that are a good fit, playing style, playing time, and proximity to home, he doesn't care about any of those 3. I've got 4 X's, and 3 of them are in those categories. So the only one he cares about is championship contender. That's a difficult pitch. So even though we're number 1 and I get bonuses on defensive tackles, it's just... it's unlikely. to go anywhere with a guy like this. So I'm going to go ahead and remove one more. Puts me at 21 for now. That's very different now. 3 are probably going to be gone in a week or two, but I'm not going to remove them just yet. I'm not going to commit other hours. I'm not going to commit any hours to the 3 of them. I want to just see how the market shapes up for them, at least by next week before I move on. I'm going to start with the 25 hours, though, on these guys, as we only have so much to commit. That leaves me with 25 more for now, and we need new scholarship offers for a lot of guys. So that's where we're going to go next. 5 guys will get the scholarship offers this week. I need to go fill out the rest of my list. And like last season, I'll start with 84 stars that have no offers, and then start getting into the 3-star guys. So like a 4-star wide receiver at 381 who has a playing time requirement that we have an A+ on for his deal breaker and has no offers. Seems like a great potential signing. Well, filling out my list, I easily picked up 6 more 4-star guys who were good on the deal breakers on and have some interest in us, not on their board, but we could maybe do well with those, especially if others don't come along with offers. Everybody on this part of the list is that typical strategy that I've picked up. But as for the 3 stars behind them, they're quality. There are so many more 3 stars that are into us this year than any previous year. And so we can get a lot of guys in that top 1,000 quite easily. And then on top of that, there's, a guy where we're 10th, where we're 3rd, where we're 8th, 4th, 1st already on their lists as 3 stars. So big head start compared to what we normally have, but I still have a lot more all offers to give to that bottom end. We'll see what happens with top end after this first week, but I'm really excited. We seem to be at a better recruit capability this year than any year prior. All right, checking in on those first 3 4-star guys. I put 25 hours on the first one. Still has no other offers, so I think I can stick with the 25 and just hope that we will get to the list and start pulling away from others soon enough. But the guy that I'm putting 50 on is the one we have competition with, Kentucky, and while we're still number 2, we weren't on the list at all a week ago. The 50 hours got us to number 2, and we nearly caught Kentucky. They seem to only be putting 5 or 10 hours into it, meaning by next week we could be ahead and well ahead. So I'm going to go with that battle. And the other one, we're not on his list yet, but again, no competition. So we're looking pretty good on our first 3 4-star guys. And then getting into our 3 stars, this is where I worry a little bit because I did not put in the kind of hours that you would typically with them. Normally I was putting in the 25, and then last year, or 50. Last year I started doing the 25 thing, and it worked really well. We got ahead, got a big head start on a lot of guys, and it worked out. I'm going to try 10 this year, which is risky. We are not going to move at the kind of pace that's going to get us well ahead of others, and I'll have to really, really watch every week and make sure that there suddenly isn't competition. But you can see how for each of them we're already at the head of the list, and it's going to help us pull away from them quickly enough, but we won't have a substantial lead. So 11 guys, we're right there. 10 guys were at number 1 on their list, right? The 11th, the 50 hours. We seem like we will get there soon enough, but these guys are the ones we're not on any list. But at 10 hours, we'll get there. There's only 3 of them. I think we'll get there eventually. There's a kicker and a punter in there that I don't ever want to commit much to anyway. I wait till much later in the season, but just it's a different year, right? So here's the big test subjects. The 4 guys each got 25 hours last week. So how did 25 hours do? Well, it was enough to outdo Cincinnati and massively outdo Ohio. So we're looking pretty good on this first one. 25 here did the same. West Virginia did not commit as much. 25 here worked. 25 here is a little bit more of a struggle. Cahill, we did move up to number 1, so we did overtake these guys. I think it was number 3 a week ago, but 25 was not significantly more than them. I'll have to watch out for that one, but I only have 40 hours at the moment, and I've got to get what else is happening. Okay, Cincinnati went pretty big on Turner. I'm going to let that one go. These are the ones that I was more worried about. Boston College didn't go that big. I think you can compete, but the big thing was what happens with the... we're still in play. We're still in play on the grades. We might have a chance on this guy. Cincinnati went pretty big on this one too. So the couple guys that I didn't go after, or the few guys that I didn't go after, none of them went particularly well. The Boston College one I think we might still have a chance on. They didn't make as much progress, and they definitely have less prestige than Cincinnati. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of York. And then Pepper will stay on the list for the moment. Now the big question is the 4-star guys here. Did anybody come in on them in week number 2? And the answer is no. No. All these 4-star guys are available. They are available. That's a lot of 4-star quality that we could potentially get after, but the hours really need to be going largely into those guys and not the others. So anybody down here on the list, it's going to be about no offers from others, and there is no offers. I do need to get at least the scholarship going on this group, and then I think I'll start redistributing points towards those 4-star guys next week. That's all those extra hours. In fact, I didn't even get to the last guy, which means I didn't get to Pepper either. That's okay. I'll sit on Pepper one more week if they don't pull too far ahead, or if they do, we'll let them go. I have 2 vacancies to fill at the moment, but right now I'm excited. There's a lot of potential in this class at the moment. 4 out-of-conference games before we get into the league, and the first one is on the road at UNLV. We have a healthy plus 14 in the comparison overall, but I'm going to save myself for the FCS game, and I don't know, one of these I want to get in there and play some defense on. Maybe I need to do this one. UNLV? Sure. Alright, so we get this game started, and it looks like it's almost nightfall, so the lights will be kind of taking over. It's... oh, man. I nearly got a sack on the very first play there. They gained 3 on that one. Had just a little bit too much time. It was a little too long before I was able to get in there. But it was a good sign. Oh, that faked out my man so bad. Ramirez there got fooled. He was about to hit him. 3rd and 3. And a little hurry up from their offense. There's a sack. Nice, 4th down. Looking good so far. I've really grown nervous about playing games live because of the tendency that, one, I only want to play one side of the ball. I only want to play a few drives, right? That's my strategy. But when I play, the AI does not seem to do well without me. I can stuff the offense over and over again, right? And when I'm on offense, I don't do great, but I kind of move the ball. But it's the AI when I'm not playing drives, either side of the ball, that really struggles. Where when we simulate a week, the whole game, we score 40 points. Where here we're lucky if we get 14. We do have 7 already here. So maybe this is gonna change it up. That's a 1st down, but we didn't allow him to get much that time. Tried to stop him for just a mid-gain to take away the potential 1st down kind of option. I've not blitzed at all. This is going to be my first blitz call of the game. Oh! Again with the really, really, really close to getting in for a sack. We're definitely going to have some sacks today. Obviously, we have 1 already. I've come very close to 2 sacks. We are beating their offensive line a bit, but they're moving the ball also a little bit this time. Okay, they called a big audible there. Ah, nice defensive tackle, the nose tackle there. getting up and knocking her down. 2nd and 10. Nearly the end of the first quarter already, but I suppose this is the, what, 4th drive of the game? Our offense stalled on the first drive, but... Oh, there's another almost sack situation. Like this would be if we can stop them right here with no gain, this would be enough to force a punt, or maybe they go for it on 4th as they're inside the 40. Is that a lineman who not lineman, no, that's a corner. He's just a big slow guy. He just got outran. That's me in the backfield. Nice. 2nd and 13. 8 yards there. A little more than I wanted to give up. 3rd and 5. He did catch that. A diving catch. I'm having some bad luck when it comes to that. My guys never make that kind of catch. Have I seen a diving catch once? The hole that he was coming for, suddenly I was standing in, so he tried to go to the outside and met a teammate instead and lost 3 yards. I'm going to put a double on their first wide receiver. Not sure I've called that play at all yet. He's scrambling. I don't know how he got that away. That should have been a ball bouncing nearby. That would have been a fumble in real life. Or he gets a little bit of forward action on it anyway. Not sure he gets that to the line of scrimmage. He's hit well before he throws that, and then he got a lot on it. He got a lot on that. He lucked out there. There we go. Another release. He's in the pocket, but he's got a receiver in that general area. That is going to be a field goal attempt, and it's a chip shot from here. Unless we can get a block. Nope. Alright, we're going to pick it up now into the second half and see how the rest of the second quarter goes. Still 7-3 as we begin the third quarter, but let's let another little bit of time goes by. And the offense got a field goal, so we're up to 10-3 with 2:41 left in the third. Forced him back inside, but my teammate did not make the tackle. I returned, recovered, and made the tackle myself. But he shouldn't have gotten that kind of yardage. My teammate really dropped the ball on that one. And here comes the no huddle. Big overload to the right-hand side. Again, why do the opponents always make those catches? And my guys, I've made one of those catches in how many seasons have we played? Woo! Yeah, D-line's really winning the battle. Can't believe, though, that we're only up by a score, and that's the problem. The offense goes ice cold in when I play. Oh, he dropped it. I thought he caught it again. It's like, come on. Force the punt. That's good. Little bend. Skip moment into the fourth quarter, and it's 10-all. This is what I'm talking about, though, with this game. Now it's... They just scored 2 in a row. They're going to win this game. That's the problem. That is the problem. Offense. I gave up a field goal in 4 drives. Fourth quarter down the stretch. They're capable of scoring 2 touchdowns. We get 4 quarters. Offense gets 4 quarters. Drive after drive after drive. And they put up 10 points for the entire game. Now, if I sim that game, if I skip that, they score 40. We win 40-17. The 17 is going to happen either way. But we score 40. or we score 50, or we score 35 in a bad week. But they win, and they win comfortably. And that's why I don't want to intervene in games anymore unless it's like FCS, because you can still win those automatically. Except even that is not happening. Every time I get in the game, if I only play one side of the ball, it's just not happening. And it's the other side of the ball that's the problem. So I think that might be the only game that I play this year, unless we get to a bowl game and play the whole thing. Quick recruiting update, but we'll be fast this time. Those first 3 4-star guys, things are going well, right? We're pulling ahead. We've pulled ahead of Kentucky, and we've pulled up to number 1 in each of them. Meanwhile, the others are still progressing, the guys that we're getting after, but it's still early stage, and it's only 10 hours. And then there's that 12, 13, 14 where it's still climbing. But as we get down here, the other guys, the ones the battles that I picked, number 1 and doing well. I'm gonna go ahead and let this. I feel like we could win this battle. I feel like we could, but it's just the hours that I don't have. And suddenly it's starting to feel like one of those years the offense is not producing. We have quality. We have an 81 overall offense, yet it can't put up points against weak opponents. This time we were at home, so we can't use the away as an excuse. We lose 38-28 to Western Kentucky. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Here we go again. Well, the recruiting certainly has gone really well so far, right? The strategy that I'm pulling is working extremely well. I'm going to keep working on Lewis for a while before I back off. I want to get well ahead of Kentucky. These other guys are just slow burn, but they're making progress. They're making progress, and get down to top 5. I think you can just save the hours. That 12, 13, 14, they're climbing that list finally. And then the ones, we're winning all of those battles, the ones that exist. And we've gotten after just the first 4-star, and this is championship contender guys that are a little concerned because we've started the year 0-2. I'm not going to take them off the list at this point. I'm going to ride the assumption that we can actually get back into some sort of contention as time goes on. But at the moment, I am incredibly concerned that we don't know how to win games. We do not know how to win games right now. That is not just mildly concerning, that is massively concerning. Certainly wasn't me. I didn't do anything wrong in that game. The offense did. But the next week, the offense did something wrong again. And the defense didn't have a very good day against a bad team at home either. So, we had this 2 years ago. Crap. Oh, man. I'm nervous. We'll play a whole lot of season, though, next time. I won't spend as much time on the recruiting screen. Now that you know my strategy for the year, I'm really excited about the progress we're making on that one. And I would hate us to lose a half-star because the AI is incapable. Maybe I need to switch the book and try something different so that they can win some games. I don't know what's going on, but I haven't necessarily looked at our roster and depth chart yet. I haven't picked some guys to redshirt, and I forgot to do that last season. I really need to get in there and do that before they get more than a couple of games in. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.